Am I the asshole for getting rid of the foster child my family has had for 7 years, and I don't care if it makes me a bad person? Firstly, please reserve judgment until the end. If you still think I'm a bad person after reading this, I won't stop you. I'm a 30-year-old man. My mom was a foster carer for the last 11 years before she passed away, and she made me promise that I would take over when she died. She had heart failure, but had lived for 7 years after diagnosis. She had 2 foster children, John and Paul. John came to live with us when I was 19 years old, and he was 8 and had severe behavioral issues linked to his trauma. My world was turned upside down. But I very quickly grew to love him. Underneath the trauma and the difficulties, he was an amazing boy who I loved with my entire heart. He's now 19 himself and still lives with me. He just finished high school, and I have no plans to move him out until he is ready. John and I have a great relationship. On the other hand, Paul is 16 years old. He came to live with us when he was 9. Paul has severe special needs, and no matter how much I've tried, I just cannot connect with him in the same way I did for John. Whereas John's behavior never bothered me, with Paul they do. I find him frustrating, and I have to remind myself that he is only on the same level as a 3/4-year-old mentally, and it's not fair that I get frustrated at him. When Mum was still alive, she took the main role of looking after Paul, and I supported her. Which was okay, but I knew that when she was gone I would struggle with him by myself. I didn't sign up to do this. I didn't sign up to look after him for the rest of my life, I just didn't. Mum died 6 months ago, and I said to myself I would try. I kept Paul for all this time, but I just can't cope with him. I can't. I told my social worker that he needs to be moved by the end of the month because I just can't manage. I want to continue fostering, and I love being a foster carer. But I just cannot meet his needs, and it was different when Mum was still alive. I feel so guilty because I made my mum a promise that I would care for him until he was at least 18. But I'm building resentment towards him, and it isn't fair on him. He deserves to have someone who loves and cares for him in the ways that I just can't. So yeah, call me selfish, call me scum, whatever, I deserve it. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Have you looked into state programs that could help with having a nurse or special needs caregiver to help with the burden? Uprooting Paul could hurt him even more, and he might be looking at you for support. Look into some programs to help and see what they say. If you need to move Paul, make sure you can discuss it with him. With him having a mind of a 3/4-year-old, that does some real damage to him if you aren't careful. My condolences and good luck. Edit. The other commenters are providing good advice and words of encouragement. OP. I've tried everything, any and all resources and support there is. When he's at school it's not too bad. He has a transport to and from school every day and has a career who comes and takes him out for 5 hours each week. Plus I have 2 days each month where he is sent to a different foster carer, so I can have some peace time. But even with the support I can't manage it. I feel guilty for giving up, but I honestly tried my best. This doesn't mean I'm cutting him off completely. I'll still visit him sometimes. But I can't meet his needs, and I really tried. OP responds to multiple questions about suck it in and continuing with fostering Paul, and if there are any programs or residential homes that work with people like Paul. OP, no. Don't worry, they already have a place for him in a residential home. I don't know if the system is different in different countries, but giving notice here on a placement isn't seen as the end of you fostering, and I didn't have to justify it beyond, I just can't cope, luckily. Because I would have broken down if I had to find justifications for it. It's funny, my mum used to say that the agency would always have had a way harder time playing John than Paul. John has very mild learning disabilities, but mainly linked to trauma. And had very bad behavior, even now, linked to his trauma, even though it's way better than when he was 8. LOL. He's given me black eyes and bloody noses, smashed my laptops and TVs. And there was never a point, throughout all of that, where I ever thought I wouldn't give up on him. I would foster another child like him in a heartbeat and struggle to see why anyone wouldn't. To me he was just a kid in a tough spot, and our love helped him. My mom explained to me that children like him are actually harder to place because people are less forgiving of behaviors without a cause they can physically see, like an obvious learning disability. I really tried to extend that to Paul, genuinely I did. I just couldn't. It just didn't click. I can't do the care he needs, sadly. And it's gutting for me because I really tried. And even though, I don't feel that intense love for him that I do for John. I would never want Paul to be put in harm, or not cared for. That isn't how the foster care system works. Me being unable to cope with Paul, who has extreme needs, means I should never be able to care for potential 10s of children that I can support throughout my lifetime. Because I cannot support one child is severe. Sen means that any potential foster children that I could support should what? Just continue living in residential group homes. Have a think about how that logic works for you. Me admitting I can't cope with one child means that 10s of future children could go without care and love in your world. Does that make sense to you? He is already on the highest package of support, which is immense, and I'm entirely grateful to my agency. But even with it, I'm not in a position to support him how he needs it, unfortunately. He already has a place in a residential home, and I will still visit him. I don't want to just move him there and pretend he never was part of my life. I'm not that heartless, at least LOL update. It has now been a few days since Paul moved out, so I thought I would give a little update. Firstly, I want to thank everyone who took the time to read my previous post and for those who offered support and understanding. It meant a lot, honestly. Paul has been placed with a new family who specialize in caring for children with severe special needs. I believe this is the best environment for him, and he seems to be settling in well. I am keeping in touch with his new carers, and they've assured me that he's receiving the care and attention he needs. At first the house felt different. Quieter but also emptier. There's a lingering sense of guilt, but I'm also more at peace knowing he's in a place better suited to his needs. John and I have had more time to spend together, which has been nice. We've talked a lot about everything that's happened, and I'm grateful for his understanding and support. I've also started seeing a therapist to help work through the guilt I've been feeling and to help me grieve. Yesterday, my agency reached out saying they have 2 little boys needing housing for a short-term placement. They said initially 6 weeks, but it could be extended. They are coming tomorrow, and I'm excited. They're 9 and 11 and are coming directly from their birth families. This will be my first proper placement, so I would be lying if I said I didn't feel a little anxious. Thank you again to everyone who reached out. Relevant comments. Comment 1. It sounds like everything is working out well for both you and John as well. Paul and the kids you're able to help now with these 2 and in the future. Good job taking care of yourself in this difficult time with therapy too. Comment 2. So glad to hear you made the right decision. Sounds like you're very awesome and I hope your new placement will be a good fit. Debbie Coleman 1010. Good luck to you and all the boys. You did the right thing for you all. You tried and it just didn't work out, and anyone telling you differently has never even come close to taking care of someone with severe disabilities. Now to the next story. Story 2. Am I the asshole for accidentally revealing my brother's vasectomy when his girlfriend talked about their plans to have kids? My brother, Mark 40, won the lottery when he was 20. It was $1,000 a week for life. He was young and wanted to travel. He dropped out of school and has spent his entire adulthood basically seeing the world. He comes home to visit every few years and we FaceTime with him when he is near a signal. He doesn't travel first class or stay in expensive resorts, so he has actually built up some nice savings. He came home with a girlfriend, Haley, 28, this year. They met when they got stuck in South America during the pandemic. She has been traveling since she graduated from university and she works out of a laptop. I, F54, live in the same city where I was born. I love it here. I love being close to my parents and my grandchildren. And most of my siblings. Mark hated being the youngest of 8 and always swore he would not have kids. Our parents were older when they had him and they didn't have the energy for him, truth be told. Mark came home when he was 30 and told us all that he had had a vasectomy and that he would not be contributing to the world population. Haley is a pretty young thing and she is also intelligent and sweet. I can understand why anyone would fall in love with her. We were having a family BBQ to celebrate Mark being in town. There were maybe 30 people in my parents' yard and house. I was talking to Haley about her future plans now that the world opened up again. She said that she was ready to settle down and start a family. I asked if they were planning on adopting from one of the countries that they had traveled to or if they would try North America. She said they had talked about it and would be having at least one child of their own. This may be where I fucked up. I asked where Mark got his vasectomy reversed or if they were having in vitro fertilization. I know they can harvest sperm from a testicle even after a vasectomy. She went very quiet and went over to Mark. They spoke and they left. Mark called me later that night to scream at me for ruining his life. He hadn't told her and he was planning on just continuing to travel and maybe adopt if they decided on it. He said I shared private medical information and that he never wanted to see me again. I apologized over and over. I seriously had no way of knowing that he was planning a future with this girl without telling her a pretty big piece of the puzzle might be missing. I feel bad for him, but I think he should have told her. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Your brother is a self-centered jerk. He was just going to lie and string that poor girl along. Thank you so much for telling her the truth even if it was an accident. God, what an $1 your brother is, shame on him. Please tell everyone he dates that he has had a vasectomy. OP. He's usually not in the country. OP on how old the girlfriend was when her brother met her. OP. I think she was 25 when they met. Comment 2. I mean, did you slip up or did you know you were kicking a wasp's nest? OP. They have been together for almost 3 years and are planning one biological kid. I assumed it must have come up. Comment 3. So they talked about it and he didn't bring it up on his own terms at all? Wouldn't that have been the time for him to tell his partner about the vasectomy? Update. My brother now refuses to visit our parents if I'm around because I accidentally told his girlfriend at the time that he had a vasectomy when she told me that they were trying for kids. So it wasn't that he was planning on reversing his vasectomy or anything, he wanted to do the same as that poor woman's boyfriend. Just lead her on until it was too late for her to have kids. He came by this summer with his girlfriend and I stayed away. I guess he told this one that he and I have a bad relationship and that I'm jealous of his riches, LOL, after his lottery win. I'm not going to do anything about it, but I hope she finds out before he screws her future as well. Sort of a funny thing though. His lottery money may run out soon. It turns out that he should have paid more attention. The money he won was $1,000 a week for life and was actually only for 25 years. He does have savings, so he shouldn't be destitute or anything, but he also does not have a pension or anything. I am interested to see what happens in 4 years. Comments. Comment 1. You might have spilled the beans, but it looks like his secret was bound to come out sooner or later anyway. It's cool that you're not trying to get involved, but hoping his girlfriend finds out shows you still care about her. Comment 2. Where are your parents on this? If I knew my sons were this manipulative and deceitful, I'd be disgusted. I'd also be telling every single woman he brings home, which means they'd vanish, I'm sure. Now to the next story, story 3. My girlfriend is convinced that I'm having an affair with my doubles partner. I am not, and it's driving me mad. I am a pro athlete. I won't say which sport exactly for anonymity, but it's one where you can play singles and doubles. I met my girlfriend 2.5 years ago and we had a wonderful relationship. I also made it very clear from the beginning that I would often have to be away traveling around the country and occasionally internationally to compete in tournaments, and she accepted this and has never had a problem with it until the coaches paired me with this girl who I'll call Lucy. Who I'll admit I have become good friends with, but that's it, she isn't my type. Lucy is very conventionally attractive and most guys, 100% not me, would find her more attractive than my girlfriend. I think some of her gossipy friends have gotten into her head telling her she shouldn't trust me going to hotels with this attractive girl without her there. My girlfriend is always welcome to come along to spectate but usually can't because of work. She then started reading into things that aren't there, like not being happy that me and Lucy hugged each other after winning a tournament together recently. Like what? And apparently looking too close on the team's social media even though those pictures are designed to make the team look tight. She is asking all sorts of unreasonable things, like asking me to stay in a separate hotel with Lucy. The coaches book the hotels and the whole team stays in the same one. It would look so strange if I asked not to be with them. My girlfriend was not happy with this explanation. She is now demanding that I ask for a different doubles partner, which I refuse to do, firstly because doing so to me would be like admitting there's something going on when there isn't, and secondly I am not messing with my chances of success and winning titles because she can't get over her insecurities. During a recent conversation I admitted to my girlfriend that soon in the run-up to the Olympics I will probably be spending more time training with Lucy than ever before, and she absolutely blew up saying she loves me but can't deny what's going on right in front of her eyes and she can't do this anymore. I screamed there is nothing going on and she stormed out and said she is going to her parents for a few days. And that's where we are at the moment. My goodness, I love this girl so much and I just want her to trust me, damn it. I have never given her a reason not to. Any advice on how to convince her to trust me? Please don't ditch Lucy as a doubles partner because I ain't doing that. TLDR, I have an attractive mixed doubles partner I play at pro level with. My girlfriend has listened to gossip and believes I'm having an affair. I am not. Any advice? Relevant comments. Commenter, what Olympic sports have specific mixed doubles events for people who only play mixed doubles? I know tennis has mixed doubles, but the pairings are made from the people who have already qualified as individuals or non-mixed doubles. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. So this isn't a suggestion, just a question. Why do you specifically play mixed doubles instead of singles or non-mixed doubles? OP, I play all three. There's no rule against competing in all of them. Mixed doubles is just the most successful for me at the moment. Commenter, you have a strong emotional connection with another female. Your relationship isn't just like co-workers, you guys are partners in a sport. Can you really blame her for not liking it? She didn't start a relationship with you and expected you to have such a strong bond with another female. And the more time you guys spend together, the stronger that bond is going to become. I understand it's because of your career, but who would want a partner that has a strong connection with another person of opposite sex, making a career together? They would prefer it if their partner didn't have that. OP, you make a good point, but she knew what she was signing up for at the beginning. I made it perfectly clear what dating an athlete in this sport would be like, including that it would mean training and potentially partnering up with women who are very physically fit. She was always okay with this until Lucy. Update. I don't know if anyone really wanted an update, but things got pretty crazy. After my girlfriend stormed off to her parents, we spoke again over the phone and she still didn't believe me and I was tired of it, so we agreed to end things. She came and collected her stuff a couple of days later and I thought that would be the end. Then 3 weeks passed and she suddenly came to my place at night telling me what a fool she had been and claiming she had come to her senses and knew I wasn't cheating. I was pretty happy to hear that, and we had some pretty great make-up sex and it seemed the problem was solved. Then for like a week and a half I started to get very suspicious of this sudden change of heart. How she went from being 100% sure I was having an affair to 100% sure I'm not, like the flick of a switch. Her behavior was also off, like she was trying too hard to make it up to me. She was never asking me to do any chores like she completely fairly did before. I was coming home to a girlfriend who had my favorite meal made on the table and dressed up sexy for me, which was out of character. I then confronted her demanding to know why the sudden change. She denied it at first but then admitted that she hired a PI in those 3 weeks she was gone to get proof of me and Lucy having an affair to prove she was right. When in fact he did the opposite when he told her after his weeks of watching that we definitely wasn't having an affair. This was a breach of trust and of my private life, so I told her we are over permanently this time. She actually accepted this quite calmly, seeming pretty resigned to it. We then parted amicably. She packed and left again, but I did speak to her yesterday where she seemed in okay spirits enjoying Christmas with her family, and she told me she is getting therapy in the new year to work on her issues and paranoia. And for me, I am all good. I thought I would be really broken up about it, but I actually feel quite happy and free. Just enjoying Christmas and looking forward to trying to get into the Olympics without all the drama. Oh, and to those who thought Lucy might have been into me, she has not made any moves on me since the breakup at all, and there has been no changes in our dynamic. Thanks to all who commented. TLDR. We broke up. She came back claiming to believe me. Turned out she hired a PI. We permanently broke up over this. We are both doing well. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.